Hello and welcome to Midday Report on TVP World. I'm Marie Cato. As Russian President Vladimir Putin prepares for the Victory Day military parade on May 9th, all eyes are on his guest of honor, Chinese President Xi Jinping. Xi is set to arrive in Moscow later today for a 4-day state visit where he will deepen ties with Putin and participate in commemorations marking 80 years since the Allied victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. Xi's attendance is perceived as a strong display of unity between the two leaders at a time when U.S. diplomacy under President Donald Trump has shifted global alliances. In a pre-trip article published in Russian state media, Xi emphasized the need for the two countries to oppose hegemonism and safeguard their, quote, eternal friendship forged during World War II. Other foreign leaders, including Brazilian President Lula da Silva and Vietnamese President To Lam, will also join the festivities. Xi's delegation will send honor guards from China's People's Liberation Army to march in the parade, which takes place amidst the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In the evening, 133 cardinals will begin voting to choose the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church. Much like the pontificate of Pope Francis before it, the conclave is expected to feature unprecedented moments as the cardinals discuss who will succeed the late pontiff, often known for his progressive and unorthodox approach. In the early afternoon, cardinals will enter the Sistine Chapel and swear an oath of secrecy on the Gospel. Additionally, cell phone service within the territory of the Vatican will be turned off to prevent anyone from the outside contacting the participants. When the last of the electors has taken the oath, a process of discussions and mediations will begin. If the vote doesn't yield a 2/3 majority needed to elect the new pope, the cardinals will go back to their quarters in Casa Santa Marta for dinner. It is then and there on the sidelines of the conclave that important conversations among the cardinals take place and consensus begins to form around certain names. Although there is no way of knowing whether this will be a long or short conclave, cardinals are aware that prolonging the proceedings could be seen as a sign of rifts and disagreements between highest-ranking officials of the Catholic Church. India launched missile strikes on 9 targets in neighboring Pakistan and the Pakistan-administered region of Kashmir. Ordering to local officials, at least 8 people died in the attacks and more than 30 have been wounded. The latest crisis has raised fears of escalation between the two nuclear-armed states. Officials in New Delhi said missiles struck the 9 sites in a, quote, focused, measured and non-escalatory manner. Reports of the strike were confirmed by the Pakistani authorities, who described it as a, quote, cowardly attack. Officials in Islamabad added that the country will respond at a time and place of its choosing. According to Indian authorities, the attack took place in relation to alleged evidence pointing towards involvement of Pakistani-based terrorists in last month's militant attack in Pahalgam. Islamabad, however, has denied involvement in the attack. Tensions between the two countries, both of which possess nuclear weapons, have persisted since the 1940s, with control of the Kashmir region being the main point of contention.
These actions were measured, non-escalatory, proportionate, and responsible. They focused on dismantling the terrorist infrastructure and disabling terrorists likely to be sent across to India. You would also recall that the Security Council on 25th April 2025 had issued a press statement on the Pahalgam terror attack, underlining, and I quote, the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice, unquote. India's latest actions should be seen in this context.
Friedrich Merz is in Paris today for his first foreign trip as the German chancellor, where he will meet French President Emmanuel Macron. Following his stop in France, Merz will travel to Poland. While in Warsaw, the new head of the German government is expected to meet with his Polish counterpart, Donald Tusk.
Before arriving in Warsaw, the German chancellor will visit Paris, where he will hold discussions with the French president. As stated by Emmanuel Macron on social media, the two officials will make sure that the, quote, Franco-German engine and combined decision-making is stronger than ever. After his visit at the Élysée Palace, Friedrich Merz will depart for the capital of Poland. Merz's visit to Warsaw reflects Poland's increasing importance in European politics due to its key role in rallying support for Ukraine. During Merz's stay in Poland, he will discuss adopting a tougher European migration policy with the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. The discussion comes shortly after the German incoming coalition agreed to reject asylum seekers at Germany's land borders.